Hello, all data science learners. Today we are again with another video, and today we will be covering our topic of clustering. So, clustering is basically grouping of different elements of data, so that we can predict a class for each data. It is very important topic, and today we will be covering k-mean clustering. So, let's move to the VS Code. So K-mean clustering is basically used for unsupervised learning. So what is unsupervised learning? So unsupervised learning is the process of teaching a computer to use unlabeled, unclassified data and enabling the algorithm to operate on that data without supervision. So basically in this unsupervised learning, we are having unsupervised data. So unsupervised data and the unlabeled data. So the data is are having no labels, so we need to classify on the basis of data in a particular group, and then we will process to the other classification issues. So let's move to k-mean clustering. So k-mean clustering assigns data points to one of the k clusters depending on their distance from the center of cluster. So the main goal of clustering is to divide the population or set of data points into a number of groups, so that the data points within each group are more comparable to one another and different from the data points within the other group. It is essential for grouping of things based on how similar and different they are to one another. So k-mean clustering basically assigns on the basis of different features. For particular same features, it will be added to a particular cluster. For different features, it will be added to a different cluster. Suppose there is a mixed group of students and teacher. So using k-mean clustering, we can change we can make two clusters, one of student and one of teachers, and then we can do some predictions and classification problems, solve classification problems basically. So what is the algo for k-mean clustering? So first of all, we will iterate to each item, means each rows we will iterate, and then we will find the mean closest to the item by calculating the Euclidean distance of item with each of the means. So suppose we have given a point, then we will a data set, so we will consider it is a point on a graph. Then we will calculate its distance from each of the other points which we have separated. So if the minimum distance from which cluster it will be having, then it will then the new data point will be converted into the next cluster, will be supplied to next cluster. Basically it will included in the cluster one, whichever cluster it is closer to. And then the mean of the average, the new formed cluster is average out using average. This is was the algorithm. Now let's move to the implementation. So we are importing all the libraries, pandas, numpy, matplotlib, sklearn. Let's import it. So it is imported, and then we are using make blobs for considering n samples, and center is 3, and features 2 features for it. Basically we are making a data set for our model for creating our model. So this is the data in the x, means what is the features from which we will predict the value of y. So uh, as we have used n features equal to 2, so we are having 2 features. This all values are randomly supplied to it, and center equal to 3 means the value of y will be 0, 1 and 2. So basically we will be forming 3 clusters here, for 0, for 2 and for 1. So you can see using scatter plot we have plotted uh, these models, that it is 1 for this is 2 for this is 3. So basically these are 3 clusters in dataset. We have created a 3 clusters, we are just showing for it before it. Now we will classify it using k-mean clustering. So for it we will be standardizing first of the data so that it will be not dependent on particular data. Data standardization we are doing here. For this we are using standard scalar from sklearn, and then we are importing trend test split. As in every model we have to do this trend test split, then we are fitting the scalar on the trend test split. So now our X test is also scaled and X trend is also scaled. So now we are importing sklearn.cluster. From sklearn.cluster we are importing k-means. So now k-mean we are creating a model here using that number of cluster we need to form is 3. So this means that the value of k for this case will be 3. Basically k is the value of number of clusters which we need to form. This is in k plus plus. Let's predict the outputs. So this is the output for scale data. For train, this was the output for train data, and now this is the output for test data. So this is the predicted outputs. So now again we have created a scattered plot, but here we have used y predicted. So here you can see the here we are forming three clusters, different clusters. So now suppose a new point arises, comes. So suppose this point is here, somewhere here. So we will calculate the distance from each cluster points. So this is the nearest point to it. So this point will be provided to this cluster, purple cluster you can say, and then the average of this will also be calculated. This is the process. So this was all for the k-mean clustering. K-mean clustering is we can conclude that it is used for classifying classification of different class, and it is a part of unsupervised learning. Here the data are not labeled, and unclassified data are there. So we basically form groupings for different classes, so that when a new point comes, then we can calculate the mean distance from each cluster, and then we can provide the features of a particular cluster to that variable. So thank you, and have a nice day.